Hello, friends. Happy Wednesday. It's time for my mini catalog live launch party. It is Wednesday, September 6th, which means the September-December mini catalog is now live for ordering. And the orders have been rolling in today, and I'm pretty darned exciting. Now, it seems I'm having some connectivity issues with Facebook. Okay, I'm going to just log in to Facebook and see if it is streaming. This is a whole new setup for me. I am trying something a little different that is going to allow me to have better audio quality, better video quality, I hope, and have me be able to stream live to both Facebook and YouTube. So hopefully this is working. Not seeing it happening. Okay. Let's try viewing on Facebook and see what's happening. Okay, it's just kind of spinning there right now. We're just going to hope that this works. Oh, there's Danielle. Hi, Anne. Hi, Shannon. All right, so if you are joining me, whether on YouTube or on Facebook, please comment and let me know that you are here so that I know things are working as they should. I'm just trying to pull up the live stream on my iPad here for Facebook, and it doesn't seem to be showing up. So I'm hoping that we're actually live and working. Hi, Lisa from Wisconsin. Hi, Jean. How are you? It's nice to see you. All right. Facebook does not seem to want to cooperate. So here's hoping that people that are on Facebook can jump over to YouTube and that it will work for us. Okay, we're going to try and remove it and then re-add it. All right. See if that works. All right. You got a nice cold iced tea. Excellent. It is a hot day here too, Jean. Hi, Joyce on YouTube. I'm glad you found me. I'm not sure what's happening, why it's not streaming to Facebook. I just keep getting an error message saying that there's a problem with Facebook. So we're just going to keep on rolling here and hope that Facebook gets on board. And yeah, so we are going to do a whole bunch of stamping. I have so much to share with you. I have 10 bundles and or suites to share. I have 8 projects to demonstrate. So it's going to be a busy evening. So settle in like Jean, grab a cold drink, and get ready for lots and lots of Stampin' inspiration. Okay. All right. So if you are joining me, you're going to want to comment and let me know why. Well, because I'm going to be giving away the Framing Foliage. Let me split my screen here so you can see what I'm talking about. I am going to be giving away the Framing Foliage Host-exclusive stamp set tonight to some lucky commenter on either platform, either Facebook or YouTube, depending if Facebook decides to get going here. So please make sure you're commenting, share, just let me know that you are here so that I can read your comments afterwards and choose a winner. Okay, so that is happening tonight. Also, I'm starting a promotion. So my host code is here. So we have to celebrate a new catalog with a promotion. So we are going to be giving away with every $60 in product purchase. Now this is Canadian. You will be able to choose a free classic ink pad of your choice. So if you spend $120, you can choose 2 classic ink pads, etc. So that is my special, and that you're going to need to use this host code. So it is posted here. It will stay here. There is also a link, a direct shop link in the video description for this host code. So if you can click that, it will automatically apply this host code to your order. Okay. So you need to place your order by midnight on Sunday to qualify for that promotion. All right. Okay. Hello, Arizona. Hi, Michigan. Hi, Wyoming. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm glad you're here joining me live. All right, so mini catalog. It's a beautiful book. As you can see, I've got all my little flags here, lots and lots and lots to share. So we're going to jump right in because it's going to be a long night if I don't get going soon. I'm just going to see if Facebook is connected here. Okay, I'm going to try re-adding it. See if that decides to work for me here. Let's see. Okay, now we're going to re-add Facebook here and see if it'll work. Okay, hopefully that's going to pop up on my Facebook feed. All right, let's get to it. I'm going to set the catalog. Actually, I'm not going to set the catalog aside because I'm going to show you the first products that we're going to be, or first suites that we're going to look at tonight. And I've decided to start with fall because, believe it or not, fall is coming. Now, I don't know what it's like where you live, but right here, right now, it is hot, 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 and humid and sticky and gross. So it does not feel like fall, other than the fact that school has returned, and it is hot in school. So we are all about the All About Autumn suite. This is one of my very favorite suites in the catalog. And I'm going to show you I'm going to show you the products, and then I'm going to show you some projects, and then we're going to make a project. So I'm going to set this aside for a minute. And I'm going to bring in the suite to show you all of the goodies up close and personal. So, of course, to start, we have a bundle, which is generally the centerpiece of any suite. So this one is the Autumn Leaves stamp set. So we have some sort of leaf images, and then we have the veins on the leaves, which is kind of a cool concept. And then we've got some lovely sentiments with some great fonts. And then, of course, we've got our dies. We've got open dies that cut out our stamped images. And then we have lots and lots of dies that cut various shapes. We've got the veining for the leaves. We've got some smaller leaves, some textural dies, and some labels. So this bundle really does have it all. It's a great one for fall. And then to complement that, we have the Distress Tile embossing folder. So this is a 3D embossing folder. It's absolutely beautiful. You will see it. Will you see it on one of my projects tonight? Actually, you'll see it on a finished project. You won't see it on one of the ones I'm going to demonstrate. But it is a beautiful folder, not just for fall. And then, of course, we have a gorgeous designer paper. So let me set these aside. So we have 6x6 specialty paper. So one side of each sheet is photorealistic imagery. So we have some fall leaves. We've got a beautiful fall forest scene. We've got some vintage books, some more beautiful leaves. We've got a leather texture pattern there. We've got a fall laneway, pumpkins. What's not to love about pumpkins, right? Okay, Facebook is happening now. All right. Hi, Carrie. Hi, Colleen. Hi, Karen. I'm glad we got Facebook sorted out. It was not cooperating originally. Welcome. I'm glad you're able to join us. We're just talking about the All About Autumn suite. So we have this gorgeous corduroy texture. Look at that overhead forest. Beautiful sort of distressed wood paneling, a cozy sweater or blanket, and some library books. And then, of course, when we flip it over, this is where the wow happens. We get all of these gorgeous foil patterns. So lots and lots of beautiful patterns, all with copper foil detail. So stunning. And I absolutely love this color palette. I love the addition of the Moody Mauve. It just is sort of an unexpected addition to a fall color palette, but it works so well. So that is the All About Autumn Designer Series paper. And then, of course, we have some specialty paper, the oops, I got a threefer here. We have the oxidized copper specialty paper. So this is 12 by 12, and you get two of each color in the pack. So we've got the pretty peacock and the pecan pie, and just beautiful copper paper. Love it. So that is the specialty paper. So I'm just going to set this aside. Now, as I go through tonight, I'm going to be mentioning a couple of items that have already sold out of stock, not meaning that they're not coming back, but they're not currently available. So you're going to want to get a wish list going tonight. And beside the items that you see, I'm going to mention a couple, one of them being this beautiful paper is currently out of stock, but is due back in stock next week. Okay, so if you haven't had a chance or didn't get a chance early this morning to grab this before it went out of stock, you will be able to starting next week. Okay, so jot that down on your wish list that it won't be available till the 11th or the week of the 11th. Okay, so that is the first out of stock item. The second out of stock item is this gorgeous ribbon that is part of the suite. So it's a 2-pack of ribbon. We have this beautiful, it's a very soft ribbon. It looks like a burlap almost, but it's very, very soft. It ties beautifully. And then this metallic copper. So these ones are also out of stock. Now this one's going to be a little bit longer coming back. It's going to be mid-October before we see this one again. But again, still plenty of time for fall crafting and also for use on your Christmas project. So that is the ribbon. And then we have these adorable little gems. So these are the adhesive back speckled dots, also part of the suite. These ones have also sold out. There's a bunch of embellishments that are gone. I think everybody was scooping up embellishments for thank you gifts and swag bags and whatnot for events today. And a lot of the embellishments are currently sold out. However, they will be back. So this one, again, I think is end of September. I think September 23rd was the date on that one. I just checked before I went live to make sure I had my date straight. So that is the All About Autumn suite. And let me show you some projects. I've had so much fun playing with this. Hi, Carol from BC. Oh, I'm glad you're joining me live. Hi, Liata. Oh, I look professional. Well, the whole idea is to save my voice, number one, and number two, to improve my audio quality. So hopefully that will happen tonight because it's a long night of talking. All right, so here we go. Here is one project. So this is one that I have used that distressed tile embossing folder on. It's really pretty. So I've used a little bit of photorealistic paper and some of the reverse side with some of my die cut leaves. Here's another one. So this is a fancy fold. It's sort of a landscape. So it allows you to see all of that beautiful forest image. Here's another one. So here I've used a little bit of that copper ribbon, but I've pulled it apart. So I get these little sort of almost, it almost looks like little hairs, just a little hint of the copper there. It's a really neat way to use that ribbon. And I love the Moody Mauve and Pretty Peacock together on that card. Here's another one. Gotta love some pumpkins for fall. I can't wait to do my front porch display. I think that's gonna happen this weekend if it cools off a little. So there is another one. Now here's a couple of swap cards that I received. This was a popular one for backstage swaps. So I received this one. And here's a fun fold. Love this one with the forest scene. And here's another. This overhead forest scene was a really popular one. Here's another. This is from a mail-in swap that I participated in. Love this one. And you can see that distressed tile embossing folder really nicely on that one. And then this was my swap card for backstage. So again, I used the embossing folder on the leaf. I didn't use it on the background, but I added texture to the leaf. I'll just hold that up so you can see it a little better. All right, so there are some ideas. Oh, and I have to show you this adorable. This isn't really using the bundle, but it does use the DSP, this cute little pumpkin. Love it. Holds 3 Hershey nuggets and uses the beautiful paper and the Countryside Corners dies. Isn't that fun? Love that little treat holder. All right, so let's put that aside. We're going to make a card. So for those just joining, I'm just going to go over sort of some of the housekeeping stuff that maybe you missed because we were having issues streaming to Facebook initially. So my host code for this evening, and in fact, running through to Sunday night, is here for you. Using that host code to place your order, for every $60 you spend on product, you get to choose a free classic ink pad. So if you spend $120, you get to choose 2 classic ink pads. So colors of your choice, I will message you with your requesting your preferences, and I will get those ordered for you. Okay. Also tonight, I am giving away the Framing Foliage Host-exclusive stamp set from the Mini Catalogue. So I'm going to draw a winner from all of the commenters on both YouTube and Facebook and be announcing that winner probably tomorrow morning, depending on how late tonight goes. All right, let's get to some stamping. Here is the project that we are going to make. I wanted to really showcase the beautiful stamps in this stamp set. So let me just pull in all of my goodies here. We're going to start by stamping on a 4 by 5¼ inch piece of very vanilla cardstock. And I've got my beautiful fall color palette. We've got pumpkin pie, cherry cobbler, crushed curry, pecan pie, and early espresso. Now that's about as fall as it gets. So we're going to start by inking up our maple leaf with our pumpkin pie ink pad. Now this is a fairly large stamp, so I like to bring my pad to the stamp to get good coverage. And I forgot my daubers. How could we forget the daubers? Let's just grab those so that we can apply our ink to our stamp. So this ombre stamping technique is one that I use a lot. I love it for fall leaves. It's a great way to add variegated color on your fall images. So I'm just going to take my dauber and I'm going to apply a little bit of cherry cobbler ink around the edges of my maple leaf stamp. Okay, and then we're going to stamp that on our cardstock. Just kind of coming on from the edge. Now, these are photopolymer stamps, so if you have an uneven surface, you're going to want to make sure you have some cushioning. I have my grid paper here, which provides enough cushioning, but if you don't have something, you're going to want to use a Stampin' Pierce mat, or even the catalog will work, the annual, not the mini, to give yourself enough thickness there. Okay, so there's our maple leaf. Now let's do our oak leaf. So we're going to ink up our oak leaf in crushed curry. And then I'm going to come in with my pumpkin pie dauber as soon as I find it. There it is. And we're going to apply a little bit of pumpkin pie around the edges. This is going to be a little bit more subtle in terms of the difference in color, but we're still going to get a little bit of variation there. Okay, there's our oak leaf. And then we're going to come in with these last two. I don't know what leaves these are. Aspen, poplar, birch, any of the above. I don't know. I'm not a botanist, so I'm not, or an arborist, I guess, would be the leaf specialist. But there's some kind of leaf, so we're going to go with that. All right, so we are going to use some pecan pie. And I'm going to, again, bring in my dauber and just add a little bit around the edges of these little leaves here. And I'm going to add a couple down the bottom. And then I'm going to stamp that off just to get rid of the excess ink. I'm going to re-ink with my crushed curry and add a little bit more with my dauber. Get this out of the way so we don't have a disaster. And then we're going to add a couple of leaves, or maybe just one leaf up here. Okay, so there are my fall leaves sort of falling down the left side of my panel there. We'll get the daubers out of the way and close up this ink pad. And now we're ready to assemble. So I've already gone ahead and done most of my, well, pretty much all of my die cutting ahead of time, just in the interest of getting through all 8 projects tonight. But we are going to stamp our label. So this is one of the label dies from the die set. And I'm going to stamp with a Grateful Heart in Early Espresso ink. My Early Espresso pad needs re-inking. I should have done that before we started, but hopefully we'll be good enough to get through tonight here. There we go. And then we're going to layer some leaves. So this is my favorite part. This is the floral arranging, or leaf arranging as the case may be. So I'm going to come in, I've die cut several leaves here. So these 2 oak leaves are cut from the oxidized copper specialty paper. And then I've got some leaves cut from crushed curry and pumpkin pie cardstock. And then these are the veins from the leaves. These ones are actually intended to, actually not with this one, with these larger ones, to go with these leaves, but they also work quite nicely as little twigs or branches if you're doing a fall arrangement. So I'm going to add a little bit of seal to the back of my label here. We're going to add 1 oak leaf and another oak leaf. And then add a little bit more seal because we need to make sure everything stays good and stuck. And we'll add a little pumpkin pie leaf and a crushed curry leaf. And then we're going to add another oak leaf down here, and then one more little pumpkin pie guy up here. There we go. Okay, and then we can go ahead. I'm going to actually cut this apart, and we're going to use these 2 sprigs. I don't think I need this big one. We'll set that one aside for something else. We're going to add our little twigs here in amongst our leaves. So I'm going to add this guy up here just like a little twig peeking out, and I need some more adhesive because that doesn't want to stick. There we go. And then this one we'll put down here, if that's going to stick. Of course it's not. We need more glue. There we go. Okay, isn't that a pretty little arrangement? Now that is going to get stuck onto our card, but first we're going to add a little bit of this beautiful ribbon. This is just a 4-inch piece of the ribbon, and we're going to notch the end. So the easiest way to do that is actually fold your ribbon in half. Okay, you're going to want a good pair of fabric scissors, and you're going to cut on a diagonal from the corner, so the bottom corner, inwards toward the fold. So you're angling towards the fold. Okay, and that gives you a nice even notch at the end. It is much harder to get an even notch if you try to sort of carve it out of the end of the ribbon. This way you get a nice and even. All right, so we're going to put a little bit of seal down to hold our ribbon in place. Let's try and get it relatively straight. There we go. Oh, is that straight? I don't know. Close enough. Close enough for Canada, as my husband would say. And then we're going to add a couple of dimensionals to the back of our label. And we're going to pop this on. Now, I don't want to put this right over top of the ribbon because I don't want to cover all of that beautiful ribbon. So we're going to put it a little bit towards the top so we see a little bit more along the bottom. So we'll pop that on there. Okay, and then that is going to get adhered to, this is a copper clay card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. So we'll fold that in half along our score line. And we're going to pop this on with a little bit of seal. Just like that. Okay, and then our last touch is a couple of our little sparkle speckled embellishments. Now I used the copper clay ones on, or pecan pie copper clay, I'm not sure which color they are, on my sample. However, I only have 2. So let's pick a different color. Let's actually use these crumb cake ones because they will work just as well with this fall color palette, thanks to that beautiful ribbon. Kind of pulls in the brown of the ribbon. So there we go. Now on the inside, I'll just show you quick. I just did a little bit more stamping. I didn't add a sentiment because I thought with a thank you card, you can write whatever you like on the inside. All right, so there we go. There's project 1 done. I am going to need a couple of the ink colors that are in here. So I'm just going to pull them out so I'm not searching for them later. And let's get all of this stuff out of the way. And we're going to move on to another product. Just like that. Okay. Are we good? I think we're good. Okay. Moving on. Where's my catalog? Next, number 2. Let's take off number 1 because it's done. So continuing sort of with a fall vein, we are going to look at the Pick of the Patch bundle. So this is not part of a suite. This is a standalone bundle. Super cute. I love pumpkins. Well, I love fall, right? You know I love fall if you've been following me for any length of time. And I absolutely love this adorable bundle. And the best part is that it's actually a punch bundle rather than a die bundle, which is great for newer stampers. So if you don't have all the things, if you don't have your die cutting machine or you don't have a whole lot of space, this is a great solution for being able to still cut shapes without having to have all of the extra bits and pieces to be able to die cut. So let me show you that bundle and show you some cute projects. So here we go. Pick of the Patch is so cute. So we've got some really fun sentiments, not just for Halloween or fall. We've got a thanks. We've got a cutie pie, which would work for anything. You're the Pick of the Patch would work for anything. I was thinking that would make a really cute baby card or a really cute even Valentine's card with those 2 sentiments. So here we have lots and lots of images, lots of pumpkins and gourds, 2 of which can be cut out with the punch, but these are super easy to fussy cut, like super easy. We're going to do a project and you're going to see that I fussy cut a couple. And then we've got some vines, we've got a little bird, we can turn our pumpkins into jack-o'-lanterns, just a super cute stamp set. And then of course our coordinating punch. So the punch cuts out 2 pumpkins, the leaf and the stem. So let me show you a couple of projects that use this one, and then we're going to do I'm going to make one with you. Okay, so here we go. Super simple little tag. This would be great to put on a little treat holder or something for the kids for Halloween. Super simple tag cut using the TaylorMade tags dies. A little bit of scrap of the super fun, what's it called? Bag of bones, designer series paper, and then our little jack-o'-lantern that's been stamped and punched with the punch. So cute little tag. Here's another fun little Halloween card. So again, some of that same DSP. I'm going to show you the DSP in a few minutes. So you're going to see the whole pack, but look how cute that is. And we've got our little glow-in-the-dark bats and ghosts. I'll talk about those in a little bit as well, but super easy little pumpkins. These two were punched with the punch. This one is fussy cut. Here's another one. I love this one. So I used lots of the images to create my background. So lots of stamping, a little bit of ink blending with my blending brushes, and then lots and lots of pumpkins and gourds. I love this color palette. It's a little bit more subdued for fall. And I had to pull in a little bit of that fabulous plaid pattern from the Gone Fishing designer series paper, which I just love. Here's another one. This is a little easel card. So stands up like that. Again, a little bit unexpected color palette with the Pretty Peacock, but I just love it with the copper and the Cajun craze in this. I just think it works really, really well. So just a really fun, simple little easel card. And then here's another one, a little bit of texture I've added using the cane weave embossing folder, some stamped pumpkins, some punch pumpkins, just a really cute and simple little card. All right, so there are some ideas. Now we're going to make one using this bundle. So let me get these out of the way and pull in all my supplies for our next project. Okay, so here we go. This is what we're going to make. Again, that Pretty Peacock for fall is just fantastic, and I'm throwing things on the floor already. If you could only see the disaster zone that is my studio. It's a good thing you can't see over on this side of the room because that's where everything's all lined up for tonight. All right, so here we go. Cute little card using some of the fall DSP and some of the Glorious Gingham DSP from the annual catalog. So let's get to it. I'll show you how I put this one together. So we're going to start actually gluing our DSP onto our card base. So this is some of that beautiful All About Autumn designer paper. It's that wood texture pattern. So this is 4 by 5 1/4. And then we have our 5.5 by 8.5 inch Pretty Peacock card base. So we're going to fold that in half and crisp it up. And then we're going to go ahead. Whoop, I'm throwing my glue around. We're going to add a little bit of Tombow and pop this on to our card base. So there we go. Okay, and then we have a 3 by 4 inch piece of the Glorious Gingham designer paper, and then a 3 1/8 by 4 1/8 piece of Pretty Peacocks. We're just going to layer those. It's going to give me my nice little border that I love. And I decided to use the larger gingham pattern. I do like the small one, but for this one, I wanted the larger one. Sorry, my grid paper is wandering out of the view of the camera there. Sorry about that. Okay, so there we go. And then we're going to pop that onto our card. Oh, I'm glad to like my samples, Karen. I had to stop myself from like just using that pumpkin bundle for a whole day. I was really under the gun to get all of my samples made for tonight because my pre-order was very delayed in arriving, like 12 days delayed. So I was super rushed to get projects made, and I had to force myself to stop playing with this bundle because it's just so fun. So I'm looking forward to actually getting back into it when I get ready to prepare my live with this bundle. So that'll be coming up in a few weeks. All right, so here we have some little pumpkins. So these two have already been stamped and fussy cut. So these were not punched with the punch. They don't fit in the punch. However, we are going to stamp the larger pumpkin in some Cajun Craze ink. Let's just get all these little guys out of the way. So I'm going to ink this up with my Cajun Craze. Now, when you're punching this pumpkin, you want to do it. Hold on, I got to think about where's my punch. Let me think. Oh yeah, so this one is along the left side. So when you're stamping, you want to make sure you stamp towards the right side of your paper so that when you feed it into your punch, it feeds in on the right side. Does that make sense? I'll show you what I mean in a sec. So here's my punch, here's my paper. Easy to feed and I don't waste anything, right? If I stamped it on the wrong side, I would have to feed it way in and then I would waste all of this paper on this side. Okay, so you just want to make sure that when you are using any builder punch, that you think about where on the punch the image is situated and what orientation it is to make sure that you stamp it correctly. So for example, this little pumpkin is sideways. So when I stamp that one, I want to stamp it on this side and make sure it's sideways so that I can feed it in this way. Okay, those are my little paper saving tips for you. All right, so we have our 3 pumpkins. Now we're going to add our stems. Now for some reason, I punched my stems out of gray granite. These ones are, I think, copper clay, but it doesn't matter. We're just we're gonna use gray granites. It's fine. It's all fine. So I'm just gonna use some glue dots to adhere my little stems here. And I like to kind of mix up the sort of the direction of the stems. Sometimes I flip them over so they don't all look matchy-matchy. Because if you've been to a pumpkin patch lately, you've probably noticed that they certainly do not all look the same. So we're just going to mix it up a little bit. Add our little stems. There are our 3 pumpkins. Aren't they cute? So fun. All right, then we have our 3 oak leaves. So these again were cut with the All About Autumn dies, or autumn leaves dies, I think they're called. And we're going to go ahead and glue those sort of in the bottom right corner of our gingham piece. So I'm just going to put a little bit of seal down, just kind of here. And I'm just going to stick these down. I'm not being super careful. I'm not really worried about, exact placement because let's be honest, they're leaves. And leaves kind of have a mind of their own in the autumn, especially when the wind starts blowing. So we are going to start arranging these little guys. So this little guy is going to get stuck down flat. So we're just going to add just a little bit of seal, and you'll see why in a minute, because we're going to be tucking our leaves in and around after the fact. This little guy is going to get popped, but this one is going to get glued flat. So I'm going to stick him on next. And then the last one we're going to pop with a couple of dimensionals. So we'll pop that one on there. This guy is going on with some dimensionals. So I'm just going to kind of go one, and I'm actually going to put a mini beside him just because I want to make sure that I can tuck leaves in behind after the fact. So we're going to add this little guy. So there's our pumpkins. That's cute arrangement, but it'll look so much better when we add some leaves. So we have our little leaf image here. Now this one, the leaf is way down in the bottom of the punch here. So I like to use a really narrow strip. This is about, 3/4 of an inch strip of cardstock to stamp my leaves on so I can feed it through without wasting a whole bunch of cardstock. So I'm stamping Pretty Peacock ink. Oh, just put my thumb right in the ink. That was brilliant. Your chamois is perfect for removing ink from fingers and stamps. So here we go. Get rid of that so I don't end up with an inky fingerprint. And then we're going to stamp 3 leaves, 3, 4, I don't know, many as will fit across this little strip here. There, we'll do 4. We may not use them all, but that's okay. Okay, so let's bring back our punch. And when I'm punching the leaf, I like to start from the right and work my way across. I just find that an easier way to go. It may be counterintuitive. I don't know. It's just the way I started using it, and that's kind of my go-to now. So I'm just lining that up and working my way across, punching it on my stamped leaves. And one more. There we go. We'll get rid of all our scrap bits here. There we go. And then we're just going to take some glue dots. So what I like to do is just stick all of my leaves right onto my glue dots. So I kind of have a little palette of glue dots, or of leaves rather. Stick them all on, and then I like to use my take your pick and pick them up and just tuck them in wherever I want them. So this is kind of like floral arranging again, but we're floral arranging with pumpkins and leaves. So we'll add that guy in there. And this little guy, I think we're gonna tuck him in there. And one more. Whoopsie, throwing my take your pick around. We'll add this guy hanging down here in front. Okay, and then the last little touch is one of the little vines. I'm going to have that kind of coming across the bottom. So I'm just going to add just a smidge. Well, that was more than a smidge of glue. Brand new bottle of Tombow, so it's a lot juicier than I'm used to. And I'll add that one there. Okay, so there's our little pumpkin arrangement. And now we're going to stamp our label. So this little label was die cut using the nested label dies. And I'm going to stamp Thanks So Much in gray granite. So we'll ink that up and stamp it fairly centered on our label. And then I'm going to tie a little double bow with some linen thread. So I like to just double the thread up, make one loop, and then leave a tail and wrap the tail around. Really, really quick and easy way to tie a double bow. And then you just play with your loops until you're happy with them. And then we'll trim our tails. There we go. And then I'm going to add a glue dot just to the bottom right corner of my label. And we're going to stick our little bow to that. And then we're going to add a couple dimensionals to stick it onto the card. So we'll get rid of our backings and pop that on right about there. Okay, and then the last little touch is some of these copper adhesive back sequins. These again are from the annual catalog, but they work so well on fall projects, and they are beautiful with the All About Autumn designer paper. So there we go. There's our cute little cute little project here. There is my inside panel. I just stamped another pumpkin, added the stem, and a few little leaves from the stamp set. You like that one? All right. Tamara, thank you. That's so kind of you. I appreciate your comment there. That's very sweet. All right, let me just clean these for a quick sec so that I can put them away and get them out of the way. There we go. We'll get the chamois out of the way, clean up all my bits and pieces, and then we're ready to move on. Number 3. Look at that. Actually, are we on number 3? Yes, we are. All right, where's my catalog? Here we go. All right, so number 2, check. We are done. Number 3 is the beautiful Garden Walk Suite. Now, this suite is kind of unexpected in a seasonal catalog, but we need to remember that our Southern Hemisphere, South Pacific friends are just starting spring as we are heading into fall. So that because we are a global company and because we are available in the Southern Hemisphere, we need products for springtime and summer for our Southern Hemisphere friends. So this Garden Walk Suite is absolutely beautiful and actually works really, really well for fall and holiday projects. So I'm going to show you some samples. We're going to make a card. I absolutely love this suite. It has a fantastic bundle. Again, let me show you them in real life because pointing to them in the catalog is kind of not helpful. So let me just grab the suite and I will show it to you. So here we go. We start with the bundle, which is again another punch bundle. Lots of punch bundles in this catalog, which I love. So something for the sort of mid-level crafter who doesn't necessarily have all the bells and whistles, but likes to be able to punch various shapes. So this is a great bundle. So Modern Garden, we have sentiments for several occasions. There's your Christmas sentiment, birthdays. This could be kind of anything. Enjoy your special day. And then we've got lots of flowers that layer and create beautiful floral imagery. And they're nice and small, which I love. It's not often that we get a stamp set with floral images that are smaller images. So I love that about this set. And then we have this fabulous modern oval punch. Now, this is a large punch. It fits a ton of sentiments and actually fits this one and this one. It fits this one. It doesn't quite fit this one because it's a little bit too long. But it is a great punch, and you're going to see it in action in a minute. So that is the bundle. And then, of course, we have some beautiful designer paper. So this is 6x6 paper. So you get actually 6 of each pattern in your pack. So this is, there's 8 patterns, 6 sheets of each. Okay. So we have just beautiful sort of spring and summer images. Love this. I love the addition of the wild wheat. It's kind of like a subtle little hint in there. And then we get into some more fall-like images. Love this. I absolutely love this. The coral and the poppy and the mossy meadow with wild wheat are just stunning. And then we have our Christmassy paper, and this one could kind of be all season. And then, of course, when we flip these over, we get just some really basic patterns that can work for anything. So we've got garden green, pretty peacock, wild wheat, calypso coral, pretty peacock again. There's our poppy parade and some more calypso coral. So lots of patterns that will work for any occasion. So if there's a particular floral that you don't love, flip it over, you'll probably love the backside. So that is the Garden Walk Designer Series paper. And then of course we have some fun. We've had this type of trim before in other colors. This is the braided linen trim. Love this trim. What's really cool about this is you can actually pull it apart to get a wider sort of distressed look. I love that about this trim. And we used to carry just a natural one that I used a ton of. There was also a mossy meadow one, I believe, but just a great option for embellishment. And then of course we have some beautiful pearls. These are the blooming pearls in colors that are kind of unexpected. So we have pretty peacock, we've got garden green. I can't tell you the last time we had a garden green embellishment. I gotta say, like, I don't think we've ever had a garden green. Maybe we did, maybe a long time ago. But absolutely love this. And then we have just our gold and some of the calypso coral. So just love those pearls. They come in 2 sizes. You get 120 pearls in the pack, which is pretty great value. And those ones, as far as I know, are still available. They're not sold out. So there you go. All right, let me show you some samples. So here is one. I used the Patchwork Pieces dies to cut the DSP, and just made a really simple focal image here with some of the wavy trim. So there's one. Here's a great fall one using that fabulous paper. So I punched a bunch of the ovals and then fussy cut some flowers. And I actually cut this strip and then used the oval punch to round the ends as well. So lots of possibilities with that punch. Here's another one. A little bit of a fun fold. Super cute. Here's another one using that paper. Can you tell I really like that paper? Love that wild wheat. And there we go. There's another birthday card. Here's a really simple thank you card using the rip and flip technique. You're going to see that technique in a little bit. So there's that one. Here's one I did actually only with the paper. I used actually the paper florist dies and another stamp set that escapes me right now. I think it may be called So Sincere, from the Mini, that has that vertical happy birthday, which is great. We have needed a vertical happy birthday for so long, so I'm loving that. And then here's another super simple one, just a really, really simple birthday card that really highlights that beautiful DSP. So there are some ideas. Now we're going to make one, so let me get these out of the way. And I'll bring in the one that we're going to put together. Let me just get this out of the way. I do need the punch, so we got to keep that handy. All right. So the one that we're going to make is this one. Again, really, really simple. So what I love about this suite is you can make really pretty cards that don't have a ton of layers and a whole bunch of die cuts because it's a punch-based bundle. So really, really straightforward, but I'm going to show you how to do it. So to start, I have a piece of basic white cardstock that is 4 by 5¼ inches, and I've actually embossed it with the Countryside Floral embossing folder. This is from the annual catalog. It works so nicely with this DSP that I couldn't resist giving it a try. So that is our background. And then I have already punched some ovals from the beautiful Designer Series paper. So we have 2 of each pattern. So we're going to, well, let's do it the same as the sample. There we go. So we're going to arrange those on our embossed panel there. And I'm not really measuring, I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I'm not really too worried about them being perfect. So I'm just going to start sticking these down. And sort of lining them up so they're somewhat equidistant. And I am paying a little bit of attention to the flowers in my DSP here, just because I want to make sure that my flowers are kind of right side up and making a little bit of sense there. And then one more, I'll put this one this way. There we go. That one needs to go up a little bit. Okay, so that is our background. Really, really simple. We're going to glue that onto a pretty peacock card base. It's 5.5 by 8.5. So we're going to fold that in half and pop our background panel on there. Before we do, we got to add some ribbon. Oh, I almost forgot the ribbon. Where is my ribbon? So we have a new ribbon. Let me pull this in. I'm going to show you this. This is part of a different suite that you'll see at the end. So this particular gingham is a little bit wider. This is the one that's in the annual catalog. It's narrower and it's black and white. This one is twice as wide and it is vanilla and black. Okay, so I just want to highlight that. I've had a lot of people comment and say, why is this ribbon back in the same, like it's the same ribbon, but it's not. They are different. All right, so we're going to go ahead and add a glue dot to the end of our black and white gingham and trim that off. Carrie, I almost forgot to add the ribbon too, so you're not alone. Oh, Deb, thank you. You're so sweet. All right, let's pop this on and get working on our focal image here. Okay, super quick. All right, now I have just a pretty peacock oval that I punched. It is going to go horizontally, and then we are going to stamp and punch our happy birthday. So I need my pretty peacock ink, which was in another kit. The question is, which one? It's in one of them. Oh, it's in this one. See, this is what happens when you have too many projects to demonstrate. Oh, it's not in there. Which one is it in? Oh, there it is. It's in the pumpkins. How could I forget it was in the pumpkins? All right, so we're going to stamp our It's Your Birthday. Actually, we're going to punch first and then stamp. I actually find this easier. So I'm just going to punch a white label here. And then I'm going to stamp my It's Your Birthday kind of in the middle. Okay, now without re-inking, I'm going to stamp above. And then again, without re-inking, I'm going to stamp below. Okay, and that gives you just a really interesting bit of texture in behind your sentiment. Really, really simple way to add a little something to your sentiment. So we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of glue on our pretty peacock oval. And then we're going to layer our stamped oval on top. And you can see it almost forms a circle when you layer these. It's kind of a cool result. I really like the way those layer. So we're going to go ahead and pop a couple of dimensionals on the back of that. And get rid of our backings. We're going to pop that onto our card. Just centered. And then again, another quick little bow. This time with our ribbons. So I'm doing bunny ears this time. And we'll trim our tails. And then a little glue dot right behind the knot of our bow. And that's going to go on right where the ribbon and that pretty peacock oval meet. I'm going to angle it because I don't want to cover up too much of my sentiment. And there we go. That tail is too long. Got to trim it. It's going to bug me. There we go. That's better. Sorry about that. Okay, now we're going to add a couple of embellishments here. So I'm going to use actually some of those same sequins. So we use the copper ones on the pumpkin card. We're going to use some of the white ones on this one. Now we could certainly use pearls, but actually when I designed this card, I hadn't actually received my order with my embellishments in it yet. It was part of that really delayed pre-order box. So I made do with things that were in the annual catalog. We do have a whole lot of choices when it comes to bling. So there we go. There is our finished card. Now on the inside, I had some scrap strips left over from punching my oval. So I just layered a couple of scraps there on the inside, stamped my best wishes, and there we go. Done and done. All right. know, Jean, I don't want your head to be swimming. I hope you are enjoying it. I don't want to overwhelm people, but I just have so much to share. I absolutely love this catalog. It's one of the better holiday minis we've had in a while, and we've had some good ones, so that's saying a lot. But I absolutely love this catalog, and I just had so much I wanted to share with you. All right, moving on. We are moving on to number 4, so we're going to get rid of number 3. And so we've kind of done fall, we've done a little hint of spring, and now we are going to move on to Halloween. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I will admit I am not a Halloween person. I am not one who is really big into decorating. We do not decorate for Halloween. My son sometimes went out. It's just really not a big deal in our household. However, I absolutely love this suite. I cannot stop playing with it. These little skeletons are so stinking cute. So I'm going to show you the bundle, all of the products, and then I'm going to show you some projects. I've had so much fun. This is another one that I had to force myself to put down because I was having so much fun with it. So let me get the products, and then show you some projects. Okay. I have to get up because I have like a whole table over here to countertop with all of my all my stuff ready to go. All right, so our bundle is the Bag of Bones bundle. So fun. So we've got an intact skeleton, we've got a dog and a cat skeleton, which are just too cute. And then we've got a torso and all kinds of different arms and legs that you can stamp and pose to create a skeleton doing just about anything. We've got lots of different ways to decorate your skeleton. So here's a lady's hat and a rose. Here we have a little French beret and a bandana and a little mustache. We got a little bow tie. And then, of course, when we look at the dies, we have open dies that cut out all of those, but then we have even more that we can dress up our skeleton with. So we've got a cowboy hat and boots, top hat, shoes, and a cane. We've got a little fedora. We've got some bones that we can cut out. We've got our crypt. And then this works as sort of the inside of the crypt or a standalone label, or another tombstone if you'd like. We have a sort of rickety fence. We've got some grass border. We've got bats and a moon, just a jam-packed set of dies. Now, I have to tell you, these are also currently not available, but they are coming in next week. So don't stress. You will still be able to get them in time for Halloween. But oh my goodness, so much fun. So that is the bundle. Yeah, cowboy hat and boots. Absolutely, Deb. Being from Calgary, of course you absolutely need the cowboy hat and boots. Of course you do. All right, let's set that aside. I'm going to bring in the fabulous DSP. So fun. Now, I only have a little tiny bit left of one of the patterns because I've had so much fun playing with this suite. But let me show you all of the patterns except for one. Okay, so this one, again, you can cut your card fronts, or you could use this as a scrapbook page. You could cut it to 6 by 6. Lots of possibilities. You could even fussy cut out all of the tombstones on this one. And then we've got lots of skeletons. And the good news is that these guys, both the human skeleton and the cat and the dog, all fit the dies. So they could all be die cut, which is also fantastic. I love when Stampin' Up does this and divides our 12 by 12 sheet into different panels that can be cut out to be used as card fronts. So these ones are full card fronts. They're 4.25 by 5.5. And then we have some smaller panels that can be used for focal images on cards. Here we've got lots and lots of tombstones just begging to be fussy cut. And then we've got some partying skeletons. Gotta love those guys. Now, when I flip these over, I should show you one more pattern. The pattern that I only have a little bit of is this fun bat pattern. Okay, and then of course, when we flip these over, we get a little bit more subdued pattern. So we've got sort of a herringbone, but it's with bones. Get it? Herringbone. Love it. So cute. We have this fun plaid, which is great for Halloween or Thanksgiving. We've got this fun one, which is Boo and Eek. Really fun background. We've got another houndstooth. We've got houndstooth, but if you look really closely, just see how the houndstooth are bats. So fun and creative. I love that. And then we have the reverse of that little strip that I showed you is just this stripe in the starry sky. So really, really fun designer series paper. And then, of course, we have some specialty paper. Now, this is another one that is currently sold out, but again, is due back, I think, the end of September. This is the glow-in-the-dark specialty paper. You get 8 sheets in a pack. It's 6x6 paper, and it really does glow. Now, if I could turn off all the lights and show you, I would, but that would take me a really long time because I have a lot of lights on in here. But this paper can actually be stamped on with Stays-On ink. So if you wanted to, for example, punch a pumpkin and then stamp the jack-o'-lantern face, you would end up with a glow-in-the-dark jack-o'-lantern, which is so, so fun. So that is the glow-in-the-dark specialty paper. And then, of course, we have glow-in-the-dark little bats and ghosts. These also are currently unavailable, but will be back by the end of the month, so don't worry. They'll be in time for Halloween, but so, so fun. And they really do glow in the dark. I had to turn off all the lights and try it as soon as I got them to make sure that, yes, they legit do glow. All right, so there we go. And then, of course, we have some project ideas. So here are some. This is a pretty popular one for swaps as well. So here's one I did that uses one of those panels from that 12x12 sheet, just super simple Halloween card. Just great for, you know, a little one who's maybe not into the scary, spooky stuff. Here is another one. This actually, here, let me show you this one. This was a swap card I received. Doesn't use any, actually it just uses, there's our little houndstooth bats. Can you see that in the background? But we've got our glow in the dark bats and our happy little skeleton. And this isn't even Halloween, right? No bones about it. You're a sweet friend, which doesn't have to be for Halloween. Here is a fun swap that my friend Michelle made. Love this. It's a fun fold. So it opens like this and then like this. A little bit of an interlock there. Love that. And I should mention these little bones are again cut out of the glow in the dark paper, so they glow. Then here is one that I did. This fun interlocking gatefold is one you're going to see in an upcoming live. So it closes like that. So I use some of that tombstone paper, both on the inside and the outside, to have some fun. And then again, some glow in the dark embellishments. And then here's another one. This is DSP, actually. Really fun with our little skeleton puppy dog. This one, I made a dancing skeleton. So I actually use some of the little bitty brads, and I can pose my little skeleton here in whatever pose I want. So he can be dancing in the spotlight there. Lots of fun with that one. And then here is an adorable little treat box. So this doesn't look like a big deal. However, watch this. Watch what happens. Oh, there's my little skeleton. It's like a little easel that stands up. Is that not the cutest stinking little treat box ever? And of course, it holds a Reese's peanut butter cup because every treat holder must hold a Reese's peanut butter cup. So there we go. Isn't that fun? You'll see that on an upcoming live as well. So there we go. There's some ideas using this adorable suite. Now we're going to do a card. This is actually a super quick card. So if you're getting bored, stick with me. We're only on project number 4. This is a quick one. So I hope you're not falling asleep out there on me. Let me set these aside. And we're going to pull in our project. So this one is all about DSP. So again, really, really quick and simple project. These guys were die cut using the dies from the DSP. This was just fussy cut, and this is just DSP background. So like only stamping on this is the sentiment. Gotta love it. So there is my background panel. It's the same sheet that has all of the little tombstones on it. Okay, so this is cut to 4 by 5 1/4. Actually, it's 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, I believe. Almost a full card front size. And then I have my basic gray card base. So we're going to fold that in half. And we're going to add here our background panel. Oh, thanks, Karen. I'm glad you like those. The dancing skeleton I just had to do. As soon as I realized there's actually little holes that are die cut when you cut all of the individual body parts for the skeleton. So I thought, well, that's just begging to have a die or a bride put through and make them movable, right? Okay, so there we go. Now we're going to go ahead and add our skeleton. So this little guy, you'll notice he's missing part of a foot and all of his other foot. This is actually cut from the bottom edge of that large sheet of DSP, but I didn't want to waste a perfectly good skeleton just because he's missing a few body parts. So the perfect answer was to have him peeking out from behind the tombstone. So we're going to pop him up with a couple of dimensionals here. Now I'm only going to put some dimensionals on the head and the the top part of the arms, because the rest is going to hide behind the tombstone. So I have found the easiest way to maneuver these little tiny hands is to take mini dimensionals and cut them in half. And then you just use take your pick to put them where you want them. It's a really easy way to maneuver those, because otherwise they stick to your fingers and it's just a big pain in the neck. All right, so I'm just going to get an idea of where I want my little guy to go here. He's just going to be peeking out there just about like that. All right, we're going to add a couple of dimensionals to the back of our tombstone. So here we go. Get rid of our backings. The mini brads, Renee, are actually in the brad pack. So in the annual catalog, there is an assorted pack of brads, both black and white, and there are mini brads actually in that pack, believe it or not. I had to look myself. I was not convinced. And I pulled that out and dumped the whole packet or the whole container out, and lo and behold, there were mini brads in there. Who knew? All right, so we're going to go ahead and add a couple of dimensionals to our little skeleton kitty here. And he's going to be kind of sitting in front of the moon, just like that. And then our sentiment, this was stamped and heat embossed in white on black cardstock. And then I actually used the, what's it called? Starry Night? Star something stars. Which one is it? Stars at Night. There it is. Dies. This actually, this particular label die is part of that set. So I thought it looked kind of like a tombstone. It would work kind of well with my, oh, look at that. I put my guy too high. We're going to have to adjust without ripping off his head. There we go. Yeah, we can get that in there. Okay, we're going to add a little bit of ribbon. This is Starry Sky. Is it Starry Sky? Yes, it is. No, it's not. It's Orchid Oasis. This is the in color ribbon from the annual catalog. It says Orchid Oasis, but honestly, I think it works quite nicely with the Starry Sky that is in this DSP. So I'm just going to add a little bit of ribbon on either end of my label here. So there's a one. And a two. This is a great way to use ribbon that doesn't use a lot of ribbon, just adding it to your label like this instead of having it run the full width of a card. So it's a great way to just add a little bit of texture without, you know, wasting a whole bunch of ribbon. All right, so we're going to pop this up on the front of our card here. Get rid of our backings. And we'll pop that on. I may have to pop his hand up too here. Come on, little hand, don't rip. Okay, there we go. Oh, we're not having a good night, girls. Look at this. You stuck before I wanted you to. I shouldn't have put that down, face down. There we go. Okay, we may have to peel this guy up. Okay, saved it. There we go. Let's pop that on. Oh, see, that one's peeking out. We don't want that peeking out. Get out of there, you. Put a fresh one in there. There we go. Phew, save that one. And then we're going to add our little skeleton back on there. There we go. Now that guy doesn't want to stick, so we're going to add a glue dot under his hand there where I had to peel the mini off. Make sure that stays put. Okay, then we're going to add a little bow. So we'll take a little bow here, or take our ribbon and tie a little bow. So again, bunny ears. Now this ribbon is a little bit finicky. It's quite fine, so you need to really pull your knot nice and tight so that your bow stays tied. Otherwise it tends to slip a little bit. But I love the metallic effect on a Halloween card. I think it's great ribbon for Halloween. So we're gonna add just a little glue dot there and press our bow into the glue dot. And then I'm gonna use one of my little, if I can find where I put them, one of my little embellishments. There they are. We're going to add one of these little glow-in-the-dark ghosts to our sign here. He's just going to be kind of hanging out there. All right, now on the inside of this, I just stamped a little kitty skeleton and added one of the fun sentiments. Eat, shriek, and be scary. So there you go. There's a fun little Halloween card for you that is all about that fabulous designer series paper. Okay, how we doing? Are you all awake still? I hope so. Hi, Donna. I'm glad you could join me. All right. It is such a cute set, Jen. You will not regret getting it. It's one of those that I'm not a big Halloween person at all, but I just thought those little skeletons were too cute. All right, let's move on. What are we on now? We are on number 5, I think. Yes, we are. We're moving to Christmas now, girls. So here we go. We're going right to the front of the catalog. And we're going to look at the Merry, Bold, and Bright suite. So this is for those of you that like sort of non-traditional Christmas colors. You might like vintage, sort of a vintage vibe, or sort of retro, maybe not vintage, but a retro vibe, and Christmas lights. This is all about bright, bold color. I'm just going to take a quick sip of water. And I'm going to show you the products, and then we're going to make a project. So let's get to it. Now, I'm actually going to talk about 2 products, the suite and a bundle. Let me just actually show you the bundle in the catalog quick. So we've got Merry, Bold, and Bright, and then the Merriest Trees bundle, not even pictured with the suite, but works so well with the suite. So you're going to see some projects that use both, but love this bundle as well. So let me show you both of those. So we'll start with the Merry and Bright bundle. So there's our stamp set. We've got both kinds of lights. This could be your modern LED and your, I don't know, these are the kind of lights they had when I was a kid in the 70s. And then some fun sentiments. I love these block sentiments because they're super easy to fussy cut. And you don't really need to have a label. You can just stamp and cut the sentiment out, and that's sufficient. So I love that they've added the filaments for each of the lights, and we've got the socket, and we even got some little light rays and the string. Here are our dies. So again, these ones cut out the stamped images, and then we also can just cut the images or the bulb itself and add the filament. And we've got 2 different sockets. We've got some more light rays. These actually kind of cut into the cardstock. They don't actually cut out a shape. We've got 2 different styles of strands of lights, and then obviously the strings and a star. So a fun bundle. And then we have 2 paper packs. So let me talk for a second about the specialty paper. Put your sunglasses on because this is bright. This is the Melon Mambo and Granny Apple Green foil sheets. Now these are like as wow as it gets. Super bright, not just for Christmas. In fact, you probably would look at these and not even think Christmas. So lots of possibilities with this, but so fun. And you don't need a lot at either of these papers to make a real wow on your card. So it lasts a long time. You get 2 of each sheet, so 4 sheets in total in the pack. And then we have the fabulous DSP. So again, not just for Christmas. So one side of the DSP is more sort of Christmassy images. So we've got trees, and we've got Christmas lights. We've got fa la 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 la. We've got more Christmas lights. We've got both style of lights. We've got stars and more trees. But then when we flip this paper over, sorry, my take your pick is making an appearance. We have just fun, bold patterns. So we've got polka dots and rainbow stripes and more polka dots and more polka dots and stripes and more stripes. So these patterns, like if I just showed you this, I would be thinking birthdays, fun, like just really, really fun patterns and colors for any occasion. So this paper pack is super versatile. I would not be surprised if it sells out because of its versatility. I think it's the most versatile pack in the catalog right now. All right, so that is the paper pack. And then let me show you the beautiful ribbon. So this is the, what's it called? Iridescent ribbon. It is 1/2 inch. And it looks like it would be really stiff, but it's actually not. Like when I first saw it, I thought, oh, it looks kind of like, you know, that plasticky sort of iridescent ribbon that you sometimes see in the stores. This is not that. It's actually quite soft and ties up into really cute little bows. So that is the iridescent white ribbon. Can be colored with Stampin' Blends to any color. And then we have, what are these called? Iridescent adhesive backed discs. So these, again, they're kind of like sequins, but they don't have the texture of sequins. So if you think about them that way, they have the same kind of iridescence, and they're adhesive back, but they don't have that sort of sequin raised sort of embossed pattern that sequins will have. Okay, these work beautifully with the foil sheets. So that is the suite. Now let me just show you quickly the Merriest Trees bundle, because as I said, I feel like these work perfectly together because Christmas lights require a Christmas tree, right? So the Merriest Trees bundle is sort of a complementary bundle to that suite, even though it's not really part of it. So this is a really, really cool concept for a tree set. So you're kind of looking at it and going, okay, it says Merriest Trees, but there's one tree and then texture to add to it. Where is the trees? Well, what is super cool about this is the way the stamp is designed. It actually, each one of these layers has a coordinating die to cut a different size tree. So this is your large die, cuts the whole tree. Okay, this one is the next one. It cuts that much of the tree. Next one cuts the smaller tree. This one cuts smaller still, and then this one just cuts the top. So such an ingenious design for a stamp and die set. When I figured that out, I was like, holy cow, who came up with this? This is so cool. And then, of course, we have a beautiful large tag die and the reinforcement. This is a tree collar put under your tree. We've got, this is one die, all of your garland. We've got to cut your trunk of your tree. Dies to cut the presents. They coordinate with the stamps. We've got lots of stars. These also could double as snowflakes and some additional star shapes. And of course, we have 3 dies that cut ornaments. So they're all the same die. So you can stamp a whole bunch of the ornament image and then have 3 dies to run them through. So you can cut out a bunch in a hurry. So that is the bundle. And then let me show you some samples. So first of all, with the Merry and Bright bundle, or a suite, I should say. So here's one that's all about the stamps. So I had some fun stamping those retro, I'm going to say retro, not vintage. I'm not old enough to be vintage. The retro Christmas lights in fun, again, retro colors. And so I added the glow just using my blending brush in the same color of ink. So it looks like they're kind of lit up and glowing. And then here's another one in a softer sort of pastel color palette. Love that one as well. And then here are some that use the Merriest Trees bundle along with some of the products from the Merry and Bright suite. So this is another same sort of interlocking gatefold idea. You're going to see that in an upcoming live. So there's one. Here's another one. Lots of bling on this one. Here's one where I've used the trees and the Christmas lights. So I used that little die that cuts the string of lights. I just cut them in white cardstock and then colored them using my Stampin' Blends. And then one more, here is some of that fabulous foil. So I've alternated the foil and then just regular Granny Apple Green cardstock, and then added my little ornaments with a couple of the little, what are they called? Those little embellishments, the ones that I said look like sequins. All right, so there is that one. Okay, so let me show you the project we're going to make. Get these out of the way. So this is the one we're going to make. I wanted to showcase the fun dies and the fabulous foil. So here we go. Let's get busy. So to start, I have my piece of DSP, 4 by 5 1/4 inches. Okay, and then I have die cut using, you're going to see these in a little bit. These are this is from the Christmas Classics die. Love this little pine sprig. Every year, the first thing I look for in the catalog is, are we getting a pine sprig? Because it is absolutely required for every Christmas card design requires a pine or spruce sprig, and these are perfect. So I've cut 3 of them from that Granny Apple Green foil. So we're going to start by just putting a little bit of seal down, sort of in the middle of our DSP there. And I'm just going to kind of arrange my little sprigs here. Kind of like that. Okay, nothing fancy. Now I'm going to set that aside for a minute, and we're going to work on our lights. So I have die cut 3. This is Granny Apple Green, Poppy Parade, and Melon Mambo. And we are going to add a little bit of interest to these. So I'm going to pull out my complimentary inks, and we're going to first stamp our filament on our light. So I'm going to start with the Granny Apple Green. So I'm just doing tone on tone. Okay, there's one. And then I'm going to come in, while I have the Granny Apple Green ink out, I'm going to come in with my dauber, and I'm just going to sponge around the edges. Again, this is just to provide a little bit of contour and shape, and it actually, when I add my Wink of Stella, is going to make them look like they're kind of glowing. So there we go. There is Granny Apple done. Next, I'm going to do my Melon Mambo. So we'll just kind of stamp that off, get rid of most of the ink. And we're going to do tone on tone with Melon Mambo. And then again, I'm going to bring in my dauber and add a little bit of ink here all the way around. You could certainly do this if you don't have sponge daubers. The blending brushes also work quite nicely to do this. Whichever is totally fine. And then for the Poppy Parade one, I actually find I get better contrast if I use a slightly darker shade of red. So I'm actually going to use Real Red on my Poppy Parade light. So again, I'm going to stamp my filament and then come in with my Real Red dauber and add a bit of color. Just like that. Okay, so there are my lights, all good to go. Get those out of the way. And then to assemble them, we just have our little die cut sockets here. I've die cut them from Shaded Spruce. And so I'm just going to take and add a little smidge of liquid glue to the end of each bulb here, and then just layer on my socket. I love that there is like actually space or room to put glue. Stampin' Up! Is very thoughtful in leaving a little tab there for us to add our glue so that we can add the socket really easily. The people that design these things amaze me. I don't know how their brains work. It's absolutely astonishing. All right, so there we go. Give those a sec to set up. While that is happening, we are going to work on our little DSP banner here. So this is just a, what is this, 1 1/4? Yeah, 1 1/4 by 4 inch. Yep, piece of DSP. So we're going to cut the ends into a banner. Now you certainly could use a punch to notch your ends, but I forgot to get it out. So we're just going to do it the old fashioned way with our paper snip. So what I like to do is cut in the middle. So I'm going to find sort of the middle-ish of my strip and cut in as far as I want my notch to go. And then I'm going to cut from one corner to that snip and then the other corner. And that, again, gives you a nice, even banner. Okay, so that's going to go on there. But before we do that, we're actually going to add a little bit of this fun Parakeet Party ribbon. It's not quite, you see how it's a little bit lighter than the foil, but it still works really, really well. So I'm going to go ahead and put some seal in the back of my banner, and then I'm just going to take and wrap my ribbon around my hand a couple of times. And then I'm going to take those loops, let them relax a little, and stick them to the back of my banner. It's not neat. It's actually supposed to be messy, but it works. It's kind of like, you know, when you get the Christmas lights out of the box and they're a knotted mess. This is kind of what that reminds me of. So let's add a couple of dimensionals to the back of that now. And the dimensionals will also help secure our ribbon there, making sure it stays put. We'll get rid of our backings. And we're going to pop that onto our card front. Oh, no, we're not. We got to add our lights first. Woo! That was almost a disaster. All right, let's add our lights. We're going to go ahead and add a little bit of seal to the back of each light. And again, they're just kind of going any which way. I'm not really being super careful. Now we can add our banner and have our lights kind of peeking out from behind it. All right, there we go. Let's put that onto our card base. So this is a vertical card base or portrait orientation. It's 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5.5. So we'll go ahead and Fold that in half along the score line. We're going to add a little bit of glue to the back of our panel here and pop that on. Which way do I? Yeah, let's probably go this way. I'm good with that. Okay, and then we're going to work on our sentiments. So I mentioned how much I love those sort of block sentiments because they're super easy to fussy cut. So you're going to see just how easy right now. So we're going to stamp Merry and Bright in Poppy Parade ink. So I'm going to stamp Merry. This is just a little bit of scrap of white cardstock. My Poppy Parade pad is also very dry, and I actually have to get a new reinker for my Poppy Parade. And then we're just going to take our snips and cut these out. Like, it doesn't get any easier than this. It's just straight lines. So you're just going to cut straight across and around these little sentiments. So there's one. And there's two. How quick and easy is that? So we're going to go ahead and add a couple mini dimensionals to this so that, yes, this is double popped. And yes, I know it may require extra postage, but so be it. I am a big believer in form over function. I like my dimensionals, and I actually just mail my cards and hope for the best. I don't actually worry about extra postage. If they come back, they come back. It rarely happens. I think I've maybe had 2 ever come back, and they were really thick. So I usually just find it's easier to ask forgiveness than permission is my modus operandi, as they say. All right, so there we go. We are going to add some of those little discs, except I don't know where I put them. Oh, here they are. They're up here. What are they called? Iridescent adhesive back discs. Yes, I was not too far off in calling them discs. And I actually added one of each color to this because I thought, why not? They could be just like Christmas lights, right? Christmas lights are all bright and colorful. So we're going to add one of each to our little arrangement here. And one more. We'll put one up here. There we go. Done and done. Super cute, super fun. Love this suite. Now I'll just show you a quick on the inside here. I stamped another Christmas light and another sentiment on the inside. I did add on my sample, I didn't grab my Wink of Stella, but I did add some Wink of Stella. I'm not sure, it probably doesn't show up on the camera, but trust me, these are nice and shimmery shiny. So there we go. Some happy vintage Christmas lights for you. All right, we're rolling along here, girls. It's 8:21. You still awake? You still with me? I hope so. All right, here we go. Let's get rid of that. We got to get rid of 5 and 6 because we kind of did a twofer there. So 5 and 6 are done. Moving on to number 7. Number 7 is, okay, I have to tell you, the swap that I participated in, this was by far the most popular suite that was used in this swap. I have a ton of samples using the Berry Christmas suite. So stinking cute. If you're a Canadian, what's not to love about polar bears? I mean, really. But the best thing about this suite is that it coordinates with our Give Back product in this catalog. So at the very front of the catalog on page 4, you see displayed a Walk in the Forest Designer Series paper. And it actually is designed to coordinate with both the Berry Christmas products and the Merriest Trees. So there are actually images in the DSP that can be cut out using both the Polar Bear Punch and the Merriest Trees dies. So super awesome, super great paper, and $4 from every purchase of the pack goes to supporting the Salvation Army and Toys for Tots at Christmas time. So I love that. I love that Stampin' Up is philanthropic in that way, and I will be buying a lot of this paper because I love that it is supporting such a great cause. So let me show you the products. There's a lot. This is a pretty big suite. I'm going to show you both paper packs because they are fabulous. So let's start with the bundle. So here we go. We have the adorable, very cute stamp set. So this little guy here coordinates with the Bear Punch. These guys do not. Okay. People have asked me if this tree can be cut out with the Merriest Trees dies. It cannot. Okay. So you'd have to fussy cut that one. But super cute, lots of festive images and cute sentiments. And then, of course, our polar bear punch, which could be a grizzly bear, could be a black bear, could be all kinds of bears, depending on what color you make them. So that is our bundle. I'm going to, actually, I don't need the bunch for this particular make and take, so I can set that on the side. And then we have our DSP. So let me show you the Berry Christmas Designer Series paper first. So these images are super easy to fussy cut, but many of them, so this little bear that's kind of got his right paw raised is the one that coordinates with the punch. Okay, the rest of these are easy to fussy cut. Ask me how I know. I've done it a lot. Okay. Yes, Louise, you must have the Merriest Trees bundle. You can't not. I love this. This reminds me of the Coke commercial. Who remembers the Coke commercial with the polar bears? This totally is the polar bear Coke commercial at Christmas time. How adorable would that be as a Christmas scrapbook page? Just love it. Actually, I made a sample. You'll see that in a minute. And then love all the presents. You could cut these out, fussy cut them if you need to, or just use them as a background. We've got some fun, festive, like ugly Christmas sweater kind of pattern. So there's one. We've got some snowflakes. And then we've got this whole wintry scene with lots and lots of bears. And then when, of course, we flip them over, we get some festive patterns, but then we also get more, a little bit more subdued. So here we've got some trees. These could be for any occasion, not just for Christmas. I love this pattern with the polar bear prints in the snow. I think that's so fun. And then we've got some more woodland creatures to visit our polar bear friends. Again, very easy to fussy cut. And then we've got some more sort of Christmas Nordic patterns. These remind me a little bit of the Nordic sweater that we got. Mine is very close to this color for the incentive trip. And then we've got some more snowflakes. Just going to take another quick drink of water here. All right, so fabulous DSP. So this is the Berry Christmas DSP. But then, of course, we also have the Walk in the Forest. So this is the Give Back product. And again, we have images that coordinate with both the bear punch and the Merriest Trees. So all of these little trees can be cut with the Merriest Trees dies. And then, of course, our grizzly bear can be cut with the bear punch. And then how beautiful is this pattern? Love this sort of holly berries and pine sprigs for Christmas. Here's another very festive pattern. Here we have some more bears. So this is the mirror image of this one. Okay, it cannot be cut with a punch, all right, but you certainly could do a mirror image. And I love that we have the little cub here as well. We've got some more trees. You're going to see that on the project we're going to make in a minute. And then yet again, more trees. And then if we flip this over, again, some slightly more subdued. So we just have stripes. Could work for any occasion, great for masculine cards. We've got Pretty Peacock, Garden Green, and Old Olive. So great masculine color palette. We've got some snowflakes. We've got some candy cane stripes. We've got a snow flurry. We've got some pine sprigs. And then this is just a really subtle tree pattern in Garden Green. So great paper pack, and $4 from each pack goes to a wonderful cause. All right, now let me show you a few more of the products that are part of the Berry Christmas suite. We have the Snowflake Sky embossing folder. This is my most used folder so far, I have to say. It's a great one. If you recall, we used to have one called Softly Falling. This is very similar, but it's got the larger snowflakes included as well. So that's Snowflake Sky. And then we have embellishments. How about that for some bling? So these are called adhesive back glitter sequins. And again, these don't really feel, they are a sequin shape. They're that little bit of a cup shape, but they don't really look all that sequiny. I love the glitter and the sparkle in those. And then we have this beautiful, as I was prepping the shares of this, I was thinking this reminds me of like Elsa from Frozen, right? I'm thinking like Let It Go or Singing Let It Go as I'm winding this ribbon, but it's so pretty and sparkly. It's a velour ribbon, so it's not gonna tie bows especially, but it makes great trim on a card. So that is the ribbon. And then we also have our Memories and More card pack and coordinating cards and envelopes. So the cards and envelopes, there are 10 of each. So we have the red and the blue. The finished card sizes 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. And then again, we have coordinating envelopes. So there's the red, and on the envelopes are also lined, and the blue. So super cute. And then we have the Memories and More card pack. So these make super quick Christmas cards. Okay, so let's just put our card fronts down here and you can see what I'm talking about. So there we go. There's a Christmas card. Let's do this, and we're going to add a small one. There's a Christmas card. Let's get rid of these, and we'll do this one this way. There's another Christmas card. You see what I'm saying? These make super quick. So if you are in a bind and you need a bunch of cards in a hurry, you get 6 of each large card pattern and 6 of each small card pattern in the pack. So let me show you the small cards really quickly. So here we go. So there's also journaling cards if you are wanting to do pocket page scrapbooking. That's what these are also designed for. So we've got our journaling pages. You could also use this and stamp a sentiment on here as a label on a card. But super, super cute card pack. And then, of course, we also have sticker sheets. You get 2 of each. We've got lots of little critters that you can use to embellish your cards. We've got some banners, we've got tags, we've got sentiments. So just a great pack for those of us who need to make a lot of cards in a hurry. This is a great pack for that. All right, so let's get that out of the way. I actually had somebody place an order today for this pack, and I know she's going to love it. All right, let me show you some samples. So here we go. I remember how I said this was the most popular suite, okay? So here we go. So here we go. Look at this one. There's that Coca-Cola commercial. I got a little segment. It was really hard to cut the paper. It's so cute. But just look at, he's looking up at the star, at the North Star. So cute. And you recognize that those sentiments, those are from the Merry, Bold, and Bright. So there's that one. Here's one. This is all DSP except the sentiments. So I fussy cut a bunch of little critters there. They're all having a visit around the Christmas tree. This is a swap card I received. Super cute little book fold. Here's one, again, use the merriest trees and that fun garland die. And then again, you've got your little polar bears. And there is that snowflake sky embossing folder. I also used it on this one too, if you can see that. And then we have, these are all swap cards I received. So I'm going to go through these fairly quickly. There's a cute one. There's another one. I mean, seriously, these bears are just the most adorable. There's that ribbon. You see how it's kind of used as a trim rather than as a bow. And there. And another one. And another one. I love this one that he's like just a white bear and they've just added his eye there. I think that's super cute. All right, so we're going to make a card using this, some of these products. So let me get these out of the way. And we will get to it. Sorry, I'm all cockeyed here. Okay, here we go. So the card we're going to make is this one. So this uses the rip and flip trick. It's a great one when you have DSP that you like both sides of, because it allows you to use both sides of the DSP. Throwing dimensional backings all over the place here. Okay. So we're going to pull out our 2 pieces to create our background. So this is a piece of the Walk in the Forest designer paper. It is 4 by 6 inches. Okay. So what I'm going to do is rip across, I don't know, about 1.5 inches, 1.75 inches. Okay. And then I'm going to layer this. This is a piece of Night of Navy cardstock that is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So I'm going to layer my larger panel, my trees, and then this one is going to go on with the snowflakes facing up. Now we're not going to glue this one on just yet because we have to add our stamped panel in there, but that's how that's going to work. So we're going to go ahead and glue this one on to start. Yes, Deb, you do need to cut the DSP. It is required. I know it's hard. Believe me, cutting that little polar bear out of that large sheet that reminds me of the Coke commercial was really hard. I will admit that was not an easy cut to make. All right, so we're going to set that aside. We're going to do a little bit of stamping on our die cut. So this is from the Radiating Stitches dies. This is an online exclusive rectangle, and we are going to stamp our Christmas tree. So I'm going to start with my navy outline. Ink that guy up, make sure he's well inked. And we're going to stamp it fairly low, not right at the bottom, because it is going to overlap, the ripped panel is going to overlap that a little bit, but not too high. We don't want floating Christmas trees. And then we're going to add our balmy blue solid image. Just like that. Oh, I didn't ink that very well. That's okay. And then we're going to add some snowflakes. So these again are from the Merry Christmas stamp set. I'm going to stamp the larger ones stamped off. Ooh, not doing a good job here. I'm rushing, people. I'm rushing. This one probably won't even be seen, but that's okay. And then I'm going to add some full strength with the smaller one. We're going to go a little bit slower so we get better quality images. There we go. Haste makes waste, as they say. All right, so there is our little snow flurry behind our Christmas tree. And now we're going to layer that on a piece of Night of Navy cardstock. This is 4 1/8 by 2 3/4, I think. Yep. And that's going to give me just that narrow little border that I like so much. So we're going to add a little bit of glue there. Oh, yes, Louise, you absolutely need the whole thing. It is too cute. And you are Canadian. This is a must-have for every Canadian. You have to have the polar bears. All right, we're going to put a little glue on the back of this now. We're going to layer it onto our panel. So we're just going to center that on there, right about there. Hopefully semi-straight. And then this one is going to layer over top. You're going to see how our tree kind of nestles in there. And we just want to make sure that our edges line up when we glue this on. So we'll add a bit of glue. And here you just want to take your time to make sure you get equal borders and that your edges all line up nice and neat and tidy. Okay, then we're going to glue that onto our card base. This is a real red card base, 4 1/4 by 11 inches. So we'll fold that in half rather, and then add our panel. There we go. Okay. All right, now we need to stamp and fussy cut some polar bears. So I have just a bit of scrap white cardstock here. I'm going to stamp in basic gray. You certainly could use black. I just like the gray. It's a little bit softer. So I'm going to stamp Mama Bear here, or Papa Bear. I don't know why I think that's Mama. And Baby Bear. And then we're going to give Mama a nice warm woolly scarf in real red. So we're going to ink that up. And you just want to take your time to make sure that the scarf is actually going to come into contact with both sides of her neck. Otherwise, again, you have a floating scarf, which is kind of strange looking. All right, so now we're going to fussy cut these little guys out. I did this on purpose to show you just how easy these images are to fussy cut. They're very, very straightforward. So if you are a fairly novice fussy cutter, you too can do these. They are not super intricate or detailed. They're quite easy to cut. So when you're fussy cutting, you want to move your paper rather than your scissors. So if you think about the idea of a bandsaw, so if you ever watch somebody using a bandsaw, the saw doesn't move, right? The band stays exactly where it is. It is the wood that moves around the blade. So if you kind of think about fussy cutting that way, your paper is kind of moving around your scissor blade rather than your scissors moving around the shape. You will get a more smooth, sort of continuous cut. You won't get sort of those jagged edges that sometimes we get when we're fussy cutting. So we're going to do a little baby bear here. The other thing is, don't be afraid to cut in small little sections. Like, don't deal with a huge big piece of paper that gets in your way. You want to be able to see. Do you see how I'm cutting off little bits as I go here? It's much easier to maneuver when you just have a small little piece rather than a whole bunch of excess cardstock. And there we go. See how easy that was? Super easy. All right, so we're going to pop these guys up with a couple dimensionals. So we'll give Mama a couple here. And we'll give Baby, I'll probably give Baby a mini on the head there, just so that he stays nice and secure on the card. So Mama's going to be sitting here in front of the Christmas tree. And then here comes Baby. All right, and then we have our sentiments. So I've already gone ahead and heat embossed this in white on real red cardstock. So we're going to add a couple dimensionals to that. Oops, big dimensionals. 1 and 2. Oh, don't worry, I won't forget the star. Thanks for reminding me. All right, and then we have these fabulous little star trinkets. So adhesive back star trinkets. These are also not orderable at the moment. They are sold out, but they will be back. I think these are a mid-October item. So if they are on your wish list, you're going to want to make sure that they go on your October order so that you have them in time to use for Christmas cards. All right, and I'll just quick show you the inside here. Here's Papa Bear coming into the scene as well. We've got our Merry Christmas and our tree again. So there we go. The whole bear family is together for Christmas. All right. That is the Berry Christmas Suite. We are making progress, girls. We're almost there. Are you bored? Are you falling asleep? Holly loves the bears. Yes, it is Canadian. Yep, absolutely. All right. So let's get rid of number 7. We're moving on to number 8. Here we go. Number 8 is another gorgeous suite. This is another one I had to force myself to put down. I will be coming back to it absolutely for sure. This is the Winter Meadow Suite. So, so beautiful. Not specific to Christmas, but absolutely beautiful for Christmas. So let me show you the products. And actually, this is going to be another twofer because I'm going to show you a bundle that works really well with the suite as well. Let me just make a bit of space here. I got too much stuff on my desk. Okay, so let's start with the Magical Meadow bundle. So we have the stamp set. So we've got lots of sprigs and sort of foliage. And then we have these sort of almost watercolor look forest images. They're smaller images. And then we have lovely fonts in the sentiments, which again are not specific to Christmas, which I love because you can use them all through the winter. And then here is our die set. So we have the dies that cut out the stamped images, including those little forest scenes. Okay, and then we have lots of sprigs and this fun cut through die. It's a snowflake cut through. You're going to see that on a couple projects in a minute. But great set of dies that coordinate with the stamps. And then we have our beautiful designer series paper. So this is another one of those hand-painted papers that Stampin' Up does so well. The concept artists at Stampin' Up are amazing. So here we go with some beautiful imagery. So there is a forest, evergreen forest. We have this beautiful, now again, that does not scream Christmas, right? That could be used for anything. Here is a little bit larger forest scene. We've got, this reminds me of rose hips. My mom has them growing in her garden. Love this sort of winter forest deer scene. So each panel, so if you think about cutting your 4 by 5 1/4 inch card fronts, each one has a deer. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So you can get your 6 card fronts out of that. I'm going to show you a super simple card that I did with that in a minute. And then look at how gorgeous this is. So, so beautiful. Now, when we flip these over, we get lots of different washes. So I am a big fan of these sort of neutral kind of wash. Doesn't that look like a frosted window? I love these because they're great to stamp on. I love having these sort of wash, sort of textured backgrounds to use as a base for stamping. So we've got sort of Misty Moonlight and Pebbled Path and Pretty Peacock, Smoky Slate, Blueberry Bushel, and Lost Lagoon. So just beautiful paper. And then we also have specialty paper in this suite. Some gorgeous specialty paper. So this is a foil, Lost Lagoon foil. And then we have this sort of texture. This just, again, reminds me of a frosted window. So the white and silver. And then this snowflake pattern, which is, again, the Lost Lagoon. So you get 2 of each sheet in the pack with that paper. And then we have our beautiful ribbon. This is another one of those ribbons that I can't stop using. This is the white and silver sheer ribbon. Super easy to use, makes absolutely beautiful bows. This again is 1/2-inch ribbon, so it's a little bit wider than some of our other ones. But I love that because it's 1/2 inch, you can actually use it for packaging as well as on cards. But look at how beautiful that bow is. Nice tight knot, really pretty. And then we have our Faceted Gems Trio Pack. So these are also currently not available. Will be back in stock by the end of the month. Okay, so we've had something similar to these in the past, but these have these really cool tones. All right, now I'm going to show you projects with that suite, but then I'm going to show you another bundle and some projects that coordinate with that suite. Okay, so here we go. These are a couple swap cards I received. So really simple, uses that distressed tile embossing folder with a little bit of Wink of Stella, but just a really pretty way to showcase some of the patterns and colors in that suite. Here's another one. This one uses that forest scene. They have edged it with silver embossing, which I think is really creative, and it kind of pulls in that silver ribbon as well. Here's one that I did. Lots and lots of sparkle and shine. I've used some of the shimmer paper from the annual catalog. Did some stamping on the DSP. Here's another one. Now this one, can you see those little sort of cut through snowflakes there? I'm holding that up nice and close to the camera. That's that little snowflake cut through die. And you can do just a little bit, or you can do a whole section. It is super, super versatile. So there it is again. See, I did the whole strip on the inside with that die. And then here's another one, some more stamping on the DSP. And then here's one that I did in a little bit of a different color palette. So I used some of the autumn DSP with the copper and Pretty Peacock. So there is that sort of forest scene. And then here is a super simple, this is almost simple stamping sympathy card. So I used some of that forest and deer pattern just as my card front and made a sympathy card. And I think that just makes a lovely, especially a masculine sympathy card. So there we go. Some ideas using the Magical Meadow. Is that what it's called? I've already forgotten. And then let me show you, we're actually going to make a project with that. But before we do, I just want to show you this bundle because it coordinates so well with the suite. So this is the Sparkling Snowflakes bundle. It actually is pictured in the catalog, I think, just after the suite. Yes, it is. So there's the suite, and the bundle is right here. Okay, so it's literally right beside it. But this is, again, another punch bundle, and it actually is a tag punch. So it creates this sort of snowflake topped tag. So let me show you what that looks like. Before I do, here is our stamp set. So we have sort of a more solid image and a detailed image. You can layer these or not. 3 different sizes of snowflakes. And again, not just a Christmas sentiment, but really useful for all winter long. And then a couple of projects. So here is what that finished tag looks like. So it's just a 2-inch wide tag, and then you punch it at the top and you get this fun little snowflake cutout. So there I've stamped the snowflakes on some of that specialty paper. Just a really simple, there is what the snowflakes look like when the 2 images are layered. And then here, I've used some of that DSP, that sort of wash pattern, and stamped the snowflakes both in ink and then heat embossed in white. And then again, I've used that tag to create, or that tag punch to create my label for the front. And then here's another idea with that punch where I've created a label but punched both ends and then threaded my ribbon through so that it kind of holds that, it's like almost like a ribbon slide. So there you go. There's some ideas for that tag punch. I just wanted to highlight that because when I first saw it in the catalog, I was like, I wonder what you do with that. So I thought I would share that with you before we do our project. So here we go. This is our second last project. We're almost there, girls. I know, it's almost 10 to 9. I've been on for 2 hours. I knew this was going to be a long one. All right, this is the project we're going to make. Not difficult, so we're going to get right to it. I'm going to pull out my DSP, which is going to be our background. We're going to do all of our stamping on this. So this, again, is some of that Winter Meadow DSP. And we are going to stamp several of the foliage images in opposite corners. We're going to start with Smoky Slate ink. And I'm going to start actually with my eucalyptus here. And I'm going to ink that up. I'm going to do one kind of coming up the side and one kind of going across the bottom. I think when I did these originally, I stamped off, but that's okay. We're going to do them full strength because we can, and it will work. So there we go. There's our eucalyptus. And then we're going to come in with this sort of branch. Looks like an olive branch to me, but I could be wrong. We're going to ink that up. I'm going to stamp this off, and we're going to add a few of these. So it's kind of collage stamping a little bit here in the corners, and these images work so well with that sort of technique. And then I'm going to come back with my pretty peacock. And this, to me, this reminds me of a juniper branch. I know it's probably not, but that's what it makes me think of. We're going to add a few of these branches in each corner. Just like that. Okay, so just really created a little bit of a collage in both corners. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue that onto a Lost Lagoon layer. This is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So we're going to go ahead and stick that down. Okay, and then that is going to get glued onto a white card base. This is thick basic white, 4 1/4 by 11 inches. So we'll fold that in half. And again, add a little bit of glue. And pop that on. There we go. All right. Okay, now we're going to take our die cut circles. So this is actually a new product as well. These are from the Deckled Circles dies. These are new in the mini. And they are fantastic. I didn't pull them out to show you tonight because I felt like I had enough to show you, but you will see them used a lot in upcoming lives. So I'm going to stamp my Peace on Earth sentiment, which is actually from the last suite that we're going to look at tonight. So I'm going to kind of save that. I'm not going to say too much more about it. But I've stamped my sentiment, and then I am going to layer it. Now, I have a circle that is die cut from some of the silver foil that is an online exclusive. And then I have several little sprigs that I've cut from DSP and from some of our fine shimmer specialty paper from the annual catalog. Now, what I like to do is actually cut these little bits up as soon as I can find my scissors. There they are. So I kind of cut these up so I get multiple pieces. And I find that by doing that, I can get a lot more mileage out of my die cuts when I'm doing my arranging. So I'm going to add a little bit of seal to the back of my, actually, yeah, we're going to add a little bit to the back of the stamped label if my seal wants to cooperate. So we're going to add this little guy here. And then we're going to add, what else did I do? I added these little guys. These are like little teasels. I remember my mom used to make little creatures out of these dried teasels that we would find growing in the ditch. My mom was very crafty when I was growing up. I think that's where I got it from. So we're going to add a couple of dimensionals here. No, we're not. We're going to glue this flat. I lied. We're going to pop up the whole thing. So let me get rid of that backing that is insisting on being part of things tonight. So we're going to pop this onto our silver circle. just like that. And then we're going to continue arranging. So I'm going to add that, and we're going to add a couple of these little guys here. One there, and one there. And then we're going to add a couple more in sort of the opposite side of the circle. So we've still got these little sprigs. So we're going to go ahead and add them. And then I'm going to trim off this little bit. And we're just going to have two little teasels peeking out here. And then we have one more little sprig here, just like that. Okay, so you can get a lot of mileage out of these die cuts if you trim them up a little bit. Okay, all right, so I'm going to add some more seal to the back of this, and we are going to add some of that gorgeous sheer ribbon. I'm going to do that sort of crisscross Z technique, and we're going to trim at an angle. That one's already good, and pop a couple of dimensionals on the back. And we'll get rid of our backings. And that is going to go on. Now this is opposite direction. It's okay. I put my piece on the wrong way, but that's all right. Still works. Doesn't matter which corner my greenery is in. All right, so then we're going to add a couple of festive pearls, some of the silver ones. Again, doesn't matter what bling you use. We do have a lot of it to add to your card. And there we go. Okay, now on the inside of my sample, I just added a bit more greenery in the one corner and kept it really simple. So there we go. You like that one? I hope you do. All right. Oh, Chris likes it. Brenda likes it. Yes, I do make sentiment clusters. That's right, Karen. Yes, I do. I tend to do that a lot. All right, here we go. We have one more suite. I saved the best for last because honestly, I've said a couple of times tonight that I have a hard time stopping when I start to play with some of these suites because they're so beautiful. Well, this one is like literally somebody had to come down and tell me to stop. My husband actually had to because it was very late at night and I need to go to bed. But the Joy of Christmas suite is absolutely stunning. I cannot say enough about it. And let's be honest, it has music notes in it. So as a music teacher, I had to get it. It was just a foregone conclusion. But this is a mega suite. So we have 2 bundles that are part of the suite and 2 paper packs. So let me show you all that comes in it. And then show you some projects and do our last make and take. Where did I put it? It's behind me. I ran out of space on my side counter. Too much stuff. All right, let's slide some of those inky stamps out of the way so that I have some space here. Okay, so let's start with the 2 bundles. These really are designed to work together. So we have the Joy of Noel bundle, and we have, I need to set my DSP somewhere it's not going to get ink all over it. There we go. We have the Christmas Classics bundle. So both of these bundles are beautiful on their own, but they are even better together. So the Joy of Noel, beautiful imagery, line art, great for coloring if you like to color. We've got our little to and from if you're making tags, and then some lovely sentiments and a great texture stamp. And then, of course, the coordinating dies. So we have the dies that cut out the letters for Noel. We have open dies to cut out the stamped images. And these ones cut a whole bunch of little sprigs all with one pass through your machine. So that is the Joy of Noel bundle. And then we have the Christmas Classics bundle, which is really about sentiments. So this is about imagery. This one's about sentiments. So here we have lots of different sentiments and lots of different ways to combine words to create different sentiments and phrases. And then we have gorgeous dies. So we have this beautiful label die. And then this is the layer to layer on top of it. We have another long, narrow label die here. And again, the layer for on top. We've got some texture dies. There's that pine sprig that we used on the card earlier that I said we must have in every Christmas catalog. We've got lots of other sprigs. These ones cut out to the stamped images. Okay, holly leaf, nice big holly leaf. But honestly, these work so perfectly together. So you're going to see the samples that I make use a bit of both. Okay, so let's set these aside. I'm going to show you a couple more products from the suite, and then I'll show you some samples. So we have 2 paper packs in this suite. The specialty paper, you get 2 of each sheet, so 8 sheets in total. So we have this beautiful gold foil holly leaf pattern. We've got a plaid. We've got a wood grain. And then, of course, we have our music notes. And if anybody's wondering, this is the melody for Deck the Halls. It is not notationally correct, which bugs me just a little as a musician, but I can overlook it because it's really pretty. So there we go. So there is your musical paper. Now, these are single-sided. Because of the foiling, they are single-sided, and they are a little bit heavier than some of our other foiled DSP. Okay, so that is that one. And then the regular DSP is so beautiful. So again, gorgeous watercolor images. So here we've got some berries and holly leaves. This one could be anything, not just Christmas. Love this plaid, or gingham, I guess it is. So we've got the red, and look at how beautiful this pattern is. So we've got poinsettias and pine cones and pine branches, so pretty. And then we've got Deck the Halls again in Pebbled Path. Okay, and then when we flip this over, we have a smaller holly leaf pattern. We've got a wood grain in Pebbled Path. We've got a wood grain in Pecan Pie. We've got a smaller music note pattern. This is Deck the Halls again, but smaller and against a wood grain background. We've got sort of a larger holly leaf wash. And then this is a really just subtle texture in the shaded spruce. So absolutely gorgeous paper, like cannot stop using it. So here we go. I'll show you some samples. Some of these, oh, actually, no, I have to show you the rest of the suite. Here is that plaid ribbon that I showed you earlier. So the black and very vanilla. It's a little bit wider. It's 3/8 of an inch. Yes, 3/8. Yes, 3/8 of an inch wide. It has a little bit of an edging on it. And then love these little loose holly gems and sequins. So we've got holly leaves, we've got little red hollyberry gems, and we've got little 16th note sequins. So fun. Had to have those as a musician. So that is the suite. Now let me show you some projects. Here we go. So here is a swap I received that uses that beautiful label, actually 2 label dies, and lots of bling on that one. Here's one where, again, they've combined the 2 die sets and used the Merry Melody embossing folder on the background. And I think that's it for swap cards. Yes, it is. Okay, so here we go. Here's one that these ones I made before I got the dies, again, because I was waiting for my pre-order. So actually fussy cut the branches there and used some of the Walk in the Forest DSP on this one. And then this is actually a case of a card by Amy Koonders, an American demonstrator. Again, did not have the dies, so I had to really improvise. And then my order came, and I got all the things, and I couldn't stop playing. So here we go. So here's one. Uses some of that wood grain specialty paper that I embossed using the distressed tile embossing folder. Did a little bit of ink blending, stamped my pine branch. Here's another one. Love this color palette. It's a little bit more earthy using the wood grain. Here's another one that uses 2 out of the 3 specialty paper patterns on the same card. I used the wood grain to cut the Noel and the label, and then use the plaid in the background. Here's another one. Did a little bit of heat embossing on the DSP. And another with a bit of copper. So I got away from the gold and brought in the copper on this one. And then finally, this one is, I think, my favorite because it's got so much bling on it. Lots and lots of sparkle. Yeah, this is actually a case of the catalog. I blinged it up a little bit from what the catalog had done. Yes, Anne, I could not resist picking this suite for the virtual retreat because I can't stop using it. So you're going to have some fun at that event. If you have not yet registered, it's not too late. Registration closes on the 12th of September, so it is not too late. You can find information about that on my link tree. So if you go to my Instagram account, it will be there. I will also post the link to my link tree in the video description later on. Okay. All right. We're going to make a card. This is our last make and take for tonight. For those of you that have been here since the beginning, kudos to you for sticking with me. Brown with music notes saying how did I make the wreath? Those are just separate die cuts that I put together, Karen. You're going to see that on a live coming up. Okay, so stay tuned. All right. So our last make and take is this cute little book fold. I couldn't resist using the Noel on the spine of the book. So we're going to put this one together. I'm just going to take a quick sip of water again. It's a lot of talking for 2 hours. All right. So we're going to start with our card base. So this is a 4 1/4 by 11 inches. It's scored at 4 1/4 and 5 1/2. Okay, that's going to give us our book fold. So I'm going to fold in half first. So that's the 5 1/2. And then I'm going to fold back on the 4 1/4. Okay, so eventually we're going to glue that down and that's going to give us our book fold. All right, so to start, I have a piece of the green gingham. It's got the wood grain on the back. This is 1 by 4 inches. And then my real red mat is 1 1/8 by 4 1/8. We're going to go ahead and layer those. There we go. And then we're going to add our letters. So I've already heat embossed these in gold and then die cut them. So we're just going to go ahead and pop these right on. I'm going to sneeze, I think, maybe not. You know how you get that feeling and then it passes? So I'm just going to lay these out really quickly here. They fit quite perfectly. Stampin' Up! Is always thinking about scale when they are designing products and keeping in mind that many of us use their products for making cards. So they always make sure that it's going to fit on a card front. So we're going to go ahead and glue these on. I'm just going to use a little smidge of glue. You don't need much to glue these little letters on. These letters measure about 1 inch square. They're about approximately that size. Of course, it doesn't want to stick now after I've said you don't need a lot of glue. I'm not a liar, really. We're going to add a little bit of glue to our O. This would be great if you know someone named Noel. You could make cards with Noel's name on them. Or a girl named Noelle would also work. Not just for Christmas. And then our L. We'll add that one on at the bottom. Oopsie, centered would be good. All right, my fingers are very sticky tonight. So then we're going to add a little bit of glue to the back of our panel here, and we're going to glue that onto the spine of our book fold. It's going to go on right about there. Okay, then I have a 4 by 4 inch piece of white cardstock that I've embossed using the Merry Melody embossing folder. Now, just a word about using this embossing folder. You want to make sure your music notes are going the right way if you're going to give this to a musician. If you're not, don't worry about it. But for me, it's important. So you want to make sure that your little dots, if you have dots beside the note, are to the right of the note, and that when you have the little flags, they always kick out to the right. Okay, so this is right side up. This is not. Okay, so that's my little music lesson for you. So we're going to go ahead and layer that on a 4 1/8 inch square of real red cardstock. So we'll go ahead and pop that on. And then we're going to glue that onto our card front. What I like about this fold is it gives you a square foundation to build sort of your card on. It's not often that I make square cards. Just because, I don't know, I don't like the fact that they don't fit in the envelope quite perfectly. So I don't make them very often, but I love doing this fold because it kind of gives me the illusion of a square card. All right, I'm going to go ahead and glue my spine shut. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue there and stick that down. And that is going to open like that. All right, so now I've already gone ahead and done all my coloring ahead of time because I knew I was doing this one last and that we would all be pretty much out of energy by now. But we are going to go ahead and layer. So look how beautiful this image is. It's heat embossed in gold and then colored with Stampin' Blends. I've used both the light and dark shaded spruce and my dark real red to color that. And then I have some of my spruce or pine sprigs here that we are going to layer behind that. So I'm going to get rid of my little negative bits. And we're going to add a little bit of seal. to our image, I'm going to add a pine branch peeking out there. And I'm going to add another one kind of peeking out the bottom. Maybe not quite that far down this way, because that's going to go in the corner like that. And then I have these little sprigs that are cut from the, can't remember the name of it right now, the blingy specialty paper that is in the annual catalog. Somebody can help me out. It is More Dazzle, maybe, I think it's called. I think that's what it's called. So there's a gold and then there's sort of a champagne color. And it is so fun to add bling with this because you don't need a lot to add lots and lots of sparkle. So we're going to put one kind of up here, maybe right about there. And then we're going to add a second one down here. And then this whole thing, I've got lots of sparkle on my card here. We're going to pop that up on the front of our card there. So let's add a few dimensionals here. It's a good thing we're almost done because I'm almost out of dimensionals, girls. Here we go. And then we're going to pop this on just sort of in that towards the right on our card. And then our sentiment here is stamped and heat embossed in gold. And I've used one of the label dies from the die set to cut that out. So I'm going to put some seal right across, and then I'm going to put a dimensional on one end where it's going to hang off the part that we've already popped. So it's going to go across like that. Then I have my little bow. It's going to tuck under here. So I'm actually going to make it a little bit smaller. I don't know why this is already pre-tied. I must have had it from something else sitting around. So I'm just going to add a glue dot here to the knot of my bow. And I'm going to just lift the corner of that tag and tuck it in. And then trim my tails a little bit shorter. There we go. And then the last little bit of bling is to add some of those little sequins. And I'm not going to take the time to do that. But the best way to glue these is just put a little bit of liquid glue there and then use the blue goo end of your take your pick to pick them up and plunk them down wherever you want them. Okay. All right. That is it. I think I've covered everything that I planned to. I've done all of my demonstrations. Just a couple of reminders. Your host code is here. If you would like to place an order, you can use this host code before midnight on Sunday, what's Sunday, the 10th, I think, of September. And for every $60 in product you order, you will be able to choose a free classic ink pad of your choice. Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks so much. Let me get out of, I'm just going to show my face here again so I can say a good night to everyone. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope you enjoyed this little walkthrough of the new mini catalog. There's a whole lot I couldn't get to tonight, but you will see a whole lot more in upcoming videos. So thanks so much for joining me. I know it was a long go. I hope you enjoyed it. If you had to leave, that's okay. You can always come back and catch the replay. Thanks again and have a great evening. We'll see you next week for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. Bye for now.